Ayub, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the other side of Carrie. So Carrie's been there for 10 years. I've been at Bitly for 1 year. And so I get
One
the
year.
pleasure of running our sales and customer success org. So day in, day out, I'm working with customers just to understand their needs and market dynamics. I actually joined Bitly knowing the brand, as many of our listeners do. And I thought of it as a link shortener, right? And
Yeah,
so as I joined Bitly, I learned that much more, which is really exciting in what we're doing in this connected package space.
That's amazing. I'd love to start at the square one. I mean, Carrie,
yeah,
maybe
100%.
take us back. Chris is a history major, so he loves this stuff. I especially do too because of a book that he was giving me a hard time because I was reading on my honeymoon about the history of the barcode. But enlighten our audience, if you would. Give us a little bit of the background, if you would.
Absolutely. And Chris, you opened it up with why are the bars so far apart? So I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive there.
Oh,
You know,
awesome.
really think about the history of the barcode. It's the conversation started in the grocery industry in the late 50s, early 60s about how to make grocery and checkout more efficient. People were
Okay.
spending a ton of time in the checkout line. The grocery stores were putting the little stickers on everything. If you remember back in the day
Mhm.
when everything had a price sticker on it, and cashiers were just hand keying all of that data into a register. The grocery industry came together and said, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so they employed a lot of engineers around the US to think about a way to do this. There were a couple of iterations of the barcode before we got to the lines and spaces that we know today. The early iteration of the barcode was a bullseye shape. It was
Oh.
difficult to print and really difficult to scan, and so that didn't really gain traction. And then we got the bars and spaces that we know today. A little bit of the conventional wisdom of how that came to be is somebody who was familiar with Morse code, Norman Joseph Woodland, was sitting on a beach in Florida, kind of frustrated with why can't we crack this code, started drawing his fingers through the sand, came up with the bars and spaces. Chris, in the why are they so far apart?
Yeah.
The bars and spaces in a barcode encode numbers. And the scanner, the laser scanner back in the day, is looking for light reflectance to figure out what number that is. Is it 0? Is it 1? Is it 3? Is it 9? What is that?
Oh.
So the reflectance in the spaces between the bars is what the laser actually reads and tells you what the number is. Fast forward, that was amazing. It solved a ton of industry challenges. Checkout became really fast and effective in the grocery industry, and other industries started raising their hand and saying, can we get on this bandwagon? And so we started seeing a lot more use cases for barcodes. The first scan of the UPC barcode happened in the US in June of 1974. So we just celebrated that 50th anniversary of that first scan. 30 years ago, though, we saw the creation of the QR code. And so while we think of QR codes as fairly new technology, dare I say a little bit of a silver lining out of COVID that we all started interacting with QR codes,
Right.
that technology has been around for 30 years. And now we're looking at how do we mash together the supply chain functionality of barcodes with the advanced capabilities of 2D barcodes like the QR code.